Hey there, fellow comic fans. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and hopefully you can see me and hopefully you can hear me. I'm having some weird technical issues, which is why the stream started just a little bit late here. For whatever reason, the camera keeps cutting out on this. So hopefully that won't happen while we're live, because we're going to be talking a lot about the new comic that I've got out. It's just gone live today on Kickstarter. It's the Crimebusters #6. The latest issue of my flagship series here at Crimebuster Comics. So I'm going to talk all about that. First of all, I want to thank you all for joining me. Anybody watching this, whether you're live or watching it later, I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support with the Crimebusters and with all my comics. And I'm really excited to share this story with you. You know, the Crimebusters, this marks the 5th anniversary of my first comic ever, the Crimebusters #1. And when I was working on Crimebusters 1, I laid out a roadmap for a bunch of future stories. This is a story, you know, that I've been waiting to get to here. It's taken me 5 years, but it's been planned all along. And I'm really excited because it also brings in Uncle Sam and some elements from one of my other series, Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, and sort of really starts tying those two stories together. That story takes place during World War II, whereas the Crimebusters takes place in the 1950s. So we're finally sort of bringing this together in a Lovecraftian murder mystery, literally Lovecraftian, because as you know, I love to use public domain characters. And so the mad artist Richard Upton Pickman is one of the characters that's in this story. And we've got a lot of other public domain people, Granny Gumshoe and Uncle Sam, Crimebuster, of course, but also I'm using the Hardy Boys in this issue. So I'll show you the preview of that with a couple of the pages of the brief Hardy Boys appearance. So I'm really excited to get into all of this. Silver Knight Kyle says, hey, hi, Kyle. Thanks so much for joining me. Glad you're here. I wanted to mention a little bit of business that doesn't have anything to do with my Kickstarter, but I did see your email about the trading challenge, but I'm having trouble with my email. I can't actually reply to emails right now. So even though I read it, that's why you haven't heard back from me. Just to let you know, it's going to take me a little while to research this. I'm not at all familiar with the comic that you sent, and I'm just going to have to research it to see, you know, the value and stuff like that. So anyway, I'll send you a message probably from a different email because I just can't figure out how to get that to work. But for now, we're here to talk about the Crimebusters #6. I'm going to do a little thing here where I'm going to show you the Kickstarter page. I'll go through the whole comic there and talk about everything that's going on and answer any questions that you might have about this campaign or about the comic in general. So here we go. Let me see. Let me get the right view here. Okay, here we are. You know what? I like the other one a little bit better. Let's go back to the technology. Can never quite get technology to work correctly. All right, here we go. So here we are. We just launched this morning, 9 o'clock. So we've been live for about 11 hours. Right now, we've got 43 backers. We're at $925. The goal is $2,900. So we're just a little bit shy of 1/3 funded. So first of all, thank you all so much for the support. I really appreciate it. It's been a great first day. Obviously, we still have a long way to go here, but it's a great start. You know, the day's not over yet as well. I will say that I haven't had a chance to do as much promotion for this today as I normally do. I'll get into this a little bit later. Man, I'm really tired right now because I spent the whole weekend at a science fiction convention, just finished the page for the Kickstarter last night, and then today had to work all day while I was trying to launch the Kickstarter and everything. So there's a number of channels where I usually, you know, do the promotion and let people know that the new issue is out that I haven't had a chance to even go to yet. So hopefully tomorrow when I have a chance to do that, we'll pick up a few more people, but it's been a great start. It's all thanks to your support. And I'm really excited for this one. Now, as I mentioned, this story has Uncle Sam in it, and basically the quick log line is that Last issue, our heroes, Chuck and Trixie, our student sleuths, found a mysterious painting that had a lot of very cryptic things painted on it. In the middle of the painting was burnt away, and so they're trying to find out what the secret of this painting is. A painting called The Great Question. And in this issue, they learned that was the work of an artist named Richard Upton Pickman, who some of you may recognize as being a character from a Lovecraft story. They start to investigate that, and they quickly get into a very weird mystery about haunted paintings that are coming to life, murdering people. And one of the potential victims may or may not be Uncle Sam, because Pickman in this universe is the person who painted the famous Uncle Sam portrait, as opposed to our real world. It was Flag. But so they're trying to find Uncle Sam before anything sinister happens to him. And in order to do that, they have to get the help of some people, including the Hardy Boys. So I'm really excited for this one here. We're looking at the regular cover here by the interior artist Mac Radwanski, who did issue 5. Really love his art, and hopefully later this week, Mac and I are going to sit down and we're going to start working on issue 7, because we want to keep these going and get right into the next big adventure. Here's the sneak preview pages. I'll have the link. The link should be in the description of the video down here, so you can click on that link to go to the Kickstarter page. Obviously, you're not really going to be able to read the text. It's small enough as it is on the page, but it's just big enough to, so you can read it. But on the video, if you're particularly if you're watching on your phone, you won't be able to read it. But I encourage everyone to go click on the link, follow that, and read this, because basically what's happening here is Trixie's saying that she has investigated the painting and discovered that it was this guy Pickman was the artist. And back during the war, he had done this series of propaganda posters called The 4 Free Citizens, one of whom was Uncle Sam. And then there's the other citizens in the painting are the scientist and the farmer and the mother, which are these other posters here, these propaganda posters behind him. And basically these people have started to turn up dead, apparently murdered by their own portraits that Pickman had painted. So where she learns this, we can see that here in this, where she got information that the model for the mother had been killed by her painting. And then she reached out to the Hardy Boys. Then we have this little sequence where the Hardy Boys are investigating one of the other people, and it turns out when they break into his abandoned house that he was killed at some point. And again, it seems like it was by his painting. So then they sort of realize, they've got to track down the other 2 people before it's too late. And so they rush out to find one of the models, and they drive to his house. And when they get there, here you can see they get there right as he's being attacked. So one fun thing about this sequence here is that we lost a picture of me again. My camera keeps going out. So strange. Okay, well, hopefully as long as the audio stays in, hopefully it's enough to keep going here. It's almost impossible for me to switch to a different way of streaming here, and I don't really know what's going on, but I've had this trouble once or twice before. But anyway, basically I was just going over the story here if anyone missed anything. And one of the fun things about this is that last issue we did one of the rewards was that a backer could choose a reward where they get drawn into this issue as a murder victim. So this sequence here that I was just showing is the person who had chosen that last time. So it's one of my loyal readers who's unfortunately being strangled by Well, I appreciate the updates, Kyle. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything I can do about it. So if we keep having the issues, I'm just going to have to end the live stream. There's really no way for me to fix it. I basically would have to end the stream and try and relaunch it. I don't think there's any way for me to do it otherwise. So I mean, if you just let me know if you can still hear me. If it happens again, I'll try and log out again. But like, I'm not sure what the problem is with StreamYard today. But I use my mic and my. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just gonna log out here and try and come back in. 1 second. All right. Well, hopefully I'm back. Let me try this again. All right. So I'm back at least for now. Let me just try and get through all the important stuff here. We've got the variant covers. Variant covers here, the premium variants. As always, I have the Trixie's Mysteries covers. This one's by artist Lisa Wynn. There's going to be an interview that I just did with Lisa that's going to be on my YouTube channel sometime in the next couple of weeks where we talk all about this. Lisa's done quite a bit of work for me recently. She's also did the artwork for Quest number 4, which will be coming out this summer. She did one of the stories in Geek Love, my new romance comic that's coming out this spring. So this is one of just 3 projects that she's worked on for me. And she did this really cool cover here. Again, it's designed to look like a Nancy Drew book cover. And in this case, Chuck has been trapped inside the painting and Trixie's trying to figure out how to get him out. I always try and have a guest artist do the Trixie cover, and I was really happy with Lisa's work here. Also, I know some of you would be excited with the Boy Comics cover. Since Uncle Sam is in this issue, I had Jay Piscopo, who did the artwork for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam number 1 and 2. He did the variant cover for me for the Boy Comics variant. And this is the variant where we have the logo and the numbering from the Boy Comics series, the Golden Age series, where Crimebuster originally came from. And I did the graphic designer on the edge to make it look a little bit like the wrestling poster covers that we did for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam. So hopefully the people will enjoy this. I know there's a lot of readers of Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam who've been waiting a while for the 3rd issue of that series to come out. And hopefully, people will like this. I think it came out really well. I'm really happy with how it looks. It's really cool. And then I did this. Now those are going to be limited editions, limited to just 100 copies printed of each of those. And then this one, the Kickstarter exclusive variant cover, which has the Crimebusters logo, but the numbering from Boy Comics. So I call it the Legacy numbering variant. This is going to be limited to just 50 copies. And as you can see, I drew this as an homage to the classic Nick Cardy cover for Teen Titans number 14, which originally has Robin in the middle and the ghosts of all the other Teen Titans around him. But in this case, I had the Crimebusters as the ghost, and it's Uncle Sam. Because, we'll find out why in the story. I don't want to spoil it, but there's reasons why this makes story sense. Let's put it that way. This is one of my favorite, covers from like the late Silver Age, early Bronze Age. So again, it just sort of made sense story-wise. Then finally, now this is something that's a little bit different. The 5th anniversary cover. So this is the 5th anniversary, as I mentioned, of Crimebuster Comics, which is me putting out comics. And so I've done this series. I'm doing a series of anniversary covers that look like the Marvel 25th anniversary covers. And the first one is this one here. Now, I'd shown a different version of this before where I had drawn the art, but I was really excited because there's an artist by the name of Samir Samau, who's from Brazil, who does a lot of really cool stuff on Kickstarter, a lot of comics on Kickstarter. And he's actually going to be doing all of the whole line of these. So every comic that I put out this year, there's going to be one of these anniversary covers, and Samir is going to do the artwork for all of them. So we've got this one here, and he'll be working, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be working on some of the ones for Quest and the Trixie one for issue 7 of Crimebusters and some of the other stuff coming out. So I'm really excited for these. These were came out right after I started collecting when I was a kid. So they have a lot of nostalgia for me. So it's just something really fun that I'm kind of doing for myself here. But hopefully for other people too, because I know there's a lot of people that collect these covers. These are only going to be available as add-ons. So basically, if you're supporting the campaign and getting a different cover, you can just add this on for an extra $15. They're going to be limited to just 100. And again, there's going to be a whole series of these throughout the year, just like they did with Marvel. Hopefully people will collect the whole bunch of them, the whole run of them. I know I will. So I'm really excited to, at the end of the year, to have like 7 or 8 of these. May even do a couple more that bleed into the beginning of next year, because there's a couple of characters that I want to make sure get spotlighted. So it may be slightly more than a year, might be more like 14 months of these, but we're going to have a set of these at the end featuring all of the cool characters, the main characters from my various comics. And then here in the we just sort of go over the rewards. And the main thing that I want to say is, like, if you haven't read the first 5 issues, there's a one reward tier. I sort of scrolled past it earlier, but it's this here. You can get the catch-up bundle where you get a special discounted price to get the trade that collects the first 5 issues of Crimebusters and issue 6. So if you do digital, it's $25 for the set, and the trade's 212 pages. Of that, about 180 pages of story, and then a bunch of variant covers and other cool bonus stuff. Whereas Crimebuster 6 is 36 pages. So you're basically getting about 215 pages of story for that $25 digital, and the physical is 39 plus shipping. So I've tried to make it affordable, it's hard with the Kickstarter, the prices of how much it costs for us to print these small print runs. But I try to make sure you're getting a lot of story for the money that you are choosing to spend. So if you miss the first 5 issues, you can pick that the whole setup and catch up on everything. You can also get the set of all 5 covers, again, as a discounted rate. So like if you get the set of 5 for $49 plus shipping, I forget how much you're saving, but I think you're saving like $12 or more, so you can get all of them at once. I know for the first 5 issues, there's a number of people that have been buying the full set of all the covers. So I want to make sure that's always available. And again, these are all like limited variants. So first 5 issues, I'm basically out of all of them, of the variants. I have just a couple copies of like a couple of the variants for issue 5, and that's it. The rest of them are all gone. They're all sold out. So if you are interested in these, the campaign's running for 18 days. It's running until February 2nd, but you may not want to wait till then, just because they may end up being sold out. And then the other thing you can do if you're new to my comics completely, is that I'm doing a special discounted bundle where you can get everything that I've done so far. That's all 6 issues of Crimebusters. So the trade in issue 6, both issues of Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, which again are 32 pages each. 2 issues of my fantasy series Quest. Those are 24 pages. One's 24, one's 25, and then they have some bonus pages. So it ends up being 28 pages plus the covers, both of those. Then the Crimebuster 80th Anniversary Special is a 100-page giant. It does reprint Crimebusters 1 in that as well, but it also has over 60 pages of digitally remastered Golden Age stuff and a never before published cover by legendary artist George Tuska. So anyway, it's $45 for the digital bundle to get all of these digitally, but it's $85 plus shipping for physical copies. And again, you're saving about, I think, $15 or so if you get them all together and catch up on everything. I've got hopefully going to be doing 6 or 7 campaigns this year. We're going to have new issues of Crimebusters and Quest, and it ties into Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam. So it's a great time to sort of catch up on everything before all the new stuff comes out. And then I've also got the mystery box, which is the same thing where you get a set of all the stuff that I've done, but you're going to get variant covers for everything. So you'll get one of the variant covers for the trade, but then all of the other issues, the floppies, will be limited edition variants. Some of them will only have like 25 copies printed, and some will only be 50 copies printed. It's going to be a mystery. You'll get an assortment, so you'll get one of everything, but it'll be sort of a surprise assortment of really limited variants for everything. So that's 119 plus shipping if you want to get the super limited stuff. And then I'm doing my usual sort of batch of add-ons. You can add on the sketch cards, which are just $5 each, and I do colored markers with those. I've got a set of 24 trading cards for the Crimebusters and Cthulhu vs. Uncle Sam and Quest, all my stuff. And the fan club membership kit, which is sort of like my version of like the 50s fan club kits that people used to get back in the day. And it's got a bunch of like cool sort of retro things like a badge, and it's got stickers. It's got a replica of Trixie's press pass. You get like an official membership certificate and some unique prints, and you get a set of all the trading cards that I mentioned earlier and a couple other things. Basically everything that extra that I have lying around I'll throw in there as bonuses as well. So it's just a lot of fun for me to do that. Is the main thing. And there's a few other add-ons that I don't have listed here just for space, but I'm also doing sketch covers. So I've got blank covers of Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #1, and I can draw whatever you want on those covers, and some other cool stuff. And there's me with issue 2 of Crimebusters, and that's more or less it. That's the campaign. So if anybody has any questions or anything, I'm happy to talk more about any specific aspects of it or anything like that. I was trying to get through that as fast as I could because I don't know how long my connection here is going to work since it's been cutting in and out. But this is, again, it's a story that I'm really excited to get out to everybody. Like all the stories, it's very personal. I'm trying to make it spooky and fun and interesting, and but at the same time, like I'm trying to I have a lot of fun doing it. So putting in character elements and arcs and stuff that are sort of personal to me, but also just having a lot of fun using these public domain characters. Haven't seen anybody else use the Hardy Boys. I might do a whole video about using the Hardy Boys because it is a little bit of a minefield. So I'm not that surprised that nobody else has used them, because only the first 2 books, only the first 2 Hardy Boys books are in the public domain. And so the Hardy Boys are still, all the rest is still copyrighted, and the characters are trademarked and still being in use. And so you can't really advertise the Hardy Boys. So like, I can't put their names on the cover, I'm not doing any paid advertising at all that mentions the Hardy Boys. So, because I don't want to get in any kind of trademark trouble. And it's extra difficult because the first 2 books of the Hardy Boys were actually rewritten, right? at some point, I think in the 50s. And so the rewritten versions are not public domain. And if you try and find, like, go online and try and buy the public domain version, a lot of the ones that are like available on Kindle and stuff like that are people that don't understand what they're doing, and they've actually put the copyrighted version up, right? And so if you're going to be using the Hardy Boys, you've got to be real careful what your source material is. So I basically, what I did with my cameo of the Hardy Boys is I decided not to read any of them. And so, I basically have got the two brothers. They're brothers, they're detectives, and they're called the Hardy Boys. And beyond those super basic elements, I didn't reference anything specific from the books, or from like their supporting casts or their histories or anything. So, it's only a couple pages that they're in here. I may use them more, and if I do that, I'll need to do a little more research to be able to flesh them out more. But yeah, I'm really excited to use the Hardy Boys. Again, I haven't seen anybody else use them, which is kind of a surprise because, they're super popular. But hopefully other people will like it too. Let's see. Kyle says, any chance of Steamboat Willie being seen dangling half-eaten from Cthulhu's tentacles? Probably not. There's a pretty good chance that I will use Mickey in a future issue, but not in that way. So like, I really want the Crimebusters to go to Disneyland because the series, they're college students, and the series is set right now. It's just turned 1957 as of issue 6 is taking place in February of 57. Right. And so Disneyland is like a huge cultural thing that's just been happening because there were years of the Disneyland TV show hyping it up, before it opened, and they had the big grand opening that was like big deal on national television. And so it's a huge part of the zeitgeist. And so at some point in the future, the Crimebusters are going to be going on a road trip. And the one of the places I want them to go is Disneyland. But again, you start to get into some trademark and legal issues if you call it Disneyland. Like, I can't call it that. I can't use Disney on the cover. But now that Mickey's in the public domain, that'll make it a lot easier for me to indicate that the place they're at is Disneyland without me calling it Disneyland, right? So you can expect to see Mickey and maybe even some of the other characters, Disney characters, because Minnie's also in the public domain. But it's, it probably won't be happening until somewhere between issues 21 and 25 of Crimebusters, because that's when I have them planned to go on this road trip. So it's going to still be another 5 years or so before I get that far. Doing some quick math. Yeah, it'll be about 5 years before I get to that part. So by the time I'm there will be more Disney characters in the public domain. So, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you can expect to see Steamboat Willie Mickey at some point. Kyle says, if topical news at the time under public domain, like they went to Yankee Stadium to see Mickey Mantle. I mean, that should be fine. You start to get into like a slightly different legal territory. From my understanding, I'm not an expert on any of this, but where you're getting into like fair use of celebrity stuff. And so that's something that I think should be okay. We may see that. I'm still thinking this through, but for a while I've wanted to do a story. Again, it'll be a while, probably issue 14. But a story that's going to involve the Brooklyn Dodgers, leaving Brooklyn, because it was never really specified in the original series, but I have it in my head that that Chuck is definitely a Brooklyn Dodgers fan. He's not a Yankees fan. So the Brooklyn Dodgers leaving is going to be important to Chuck, but specifically, um, just an odd timing of history is that the Dodgers left Brooklyn, I think either 2 days before or 2 days after Sputnik crossed over the US and it was launched and went into orbit. And so I don't know, I've got this thing in my head where I want to have a story that ties those two events together. I won't go into any details beyond that, but if I do that, we're going to see some of the Brooklyn Dodgers. We may see like Branch Rickey. There may be something with Jackie Robinson. Some of the Dodgers from the period will be in it. So, but we'll see. It's quite a ways off before I'm going to before I get to that. That's all in the fall of 57. So again, it's like it'll be issue 14 for our characters. It's still several months away. But there's other things happening actually in 57 that are going to tie into that. And it's fine to use those historical events. It's just, you got to be careful. Like Archie Comics almost never uses the actual celebrities unless they have specific permission. So like there's all these Archie comics from the 80s and 90s and stuff, and even earlier, where there's these celebrities in them in there, and they've got like, stupid fake names. So like, instead of Brad Pitt, it's like, it's Chad Sit, and it looks like Brad Pitt. I don't know. I don't want to do stuff like that. If I'm going to have them in here, I want it to be the actual people, I see we've had some more people that have joined us for the live stream. So thanks everyone who's watching, who's attending. We're here to celebrate the launch of the Crimebusters number 6, which has been a while coming. But we're here now, and I'm really excited to share this story with everyone. So just to catch everyone up, right now we're at 43 backers, $925. So we're almost a third of the way to our goal. Chris Davis. Oh, hi, Chris. Good to see you. Chris has been supporting Crimebusters right from the beginning, so I really appreciate it, Chris. Chris says, hi, Scott. I'm really excited about this project. Speaking of the Hardy Boys, I've added some sketch cards to my pledge. Can I ask for sketches of the brothers, or are they off limits? First of all, thanks very much for the support. I saw that someone was adding the sketch cards. I assumed it was you. I didn't have a chance to actually look because I know you've gotten some of these before. So thank you very much for doing that. I'm a little self-conscious about my drawing abilities on those cards, and I think my cards have been getting better, but I'm glad you're continuing to order some of them. So, because that makes me happy. So yeah, the Hardy Boys will be fine. As I was saying earlier, one thing that we did is I didn't specifically reference, even though they're in the public domain, I didn't specifically reference anything from the books other than their names and that they're brothers who are detectives. And so that included their designs. When Mac drew the Hardy Boys in the comic, he didn't reference any like published renditions of them. He just designed them from scratch. And so the versions of the Hardy Boys we have don't really look like any of the previous versions. Other than that, they're, two white guys around the age of 20. So it's fine. We're not going to be treading on anyone's toes in terms of the trademarks or the images. So yeah, I can definitely do the Hardy Boys. I can do them together on one card, or if you want one card for each of them, that works fine. But again, thanks so much for the support. I really appreciate it. I'm thinking about doing new sketch covers, blanks. I still have a couple copies of my blank for Crimebusters number 1 left, but right now the blank covers I have are all are really from Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam. But I will possibly be going to use a new printer this time. I've been using the same printer for I've been using the same printer since I started 5 years ago, but they raised their prices by about 20% all of a sudden, like without any sort of warning, just overnight. And so, I've always been very happy with them, but I may be going to a new printer. And if I do that, the new printer that I'm looking at possibly using, they just do things differently in terms of their print runs that will allow me to actually potentially do smaller print runs on some of the variant covers. And so that makes it, hasn't been a lot of demand for the blanks yet. So I'm hesitant to do a full run of like 25 blanks because I still have some from 5 years ago that I haven't drawn the first time I did that. But with this new printer, if I go with them, I may be able to print like, 5 blanks. And if that's the case, then, I may end up offering on this campaign later, we'll see Crimebuster number 6 with a blank cover, and then I can draw covers on them for people. Whoops. Okay, I saw my camera just cut out, so I don't know if the audio also cut out at the same time. But I was just talking about some of the things we might see. There might be blank covers available for Crimebuster 6. I haven't quite figured that out, but again, the campaign runs through February 2nd. So sometime probably in the next week to 10 days, I'll figure out whether or not blank covers are a good option for this. And if they are, then I'll send out an update through the Kickstarter to let people know that's happening. Anybody else have any questions? Normally I do these live streams for a full hour, but we've been having a lot of technical issues with the video in particular, but also the sound cutting out. So I may end up wrapping this up a little bit early, just because it keeps pooping itself. Just trying to think if there's anything else that I haven't sort of gone over that I wanted to make sure everybody knew. Basically, the plan right now, as I mentioned before, is that later this week, I'm going to be starting the script for Crimebuster 7. So while this campaign is going live, Mac, the artist, is going to start working on Crimebuster 7. The hope right now is that late summer we'll have issue 7 out. And my hope, and I can't promise this at all, is that if we're able to do that, we'll be able to jump right into issue 8. So I really want next year to get out 3 issues of Crimebusters. I would love to have issues 8, 9, and 10 out next year of Crimebusters. I have issue 8 is partially planned out. Issue 9 I have completely planned out, and then issue 10, again, I have it probably mostly planned out. So once we get into them, like, I know what the stories are for those issues. I know what the stories are for all the issues after that too. But we're ready to go. It's just going to be a matter of how fast Matt can draw them and how many Kickstarters I can handle in 1 year. We're really going to be pushing it this year with the number of Kickstarters I'm trying to do. But we'll see how it goes. And with any luck, we'll at least get to issue 7 of Crimebusters out sometime this year. Hopefully we'll be able to do 8, 9, and 10 all next year, and because we really want to get these stories out to everybody. I'll mention again, we've got 3 issues of Quest coming out this year. Now, those I already have most of the art done for. Issue 5, we've got about half of the art done, but I've got pretty much just about everything done for issues 3 and 4. Just some stuff I need to do at my end to finish the art, but the other artists are all done with everything. So we'll be doing those 3 issues later this year. So after Crimebusters 6 ends, right now Quest 2 is at the printer. So I'll be fulfilling Quest 2 right around the time this campaign ends, then I'll send Crimebusters 6 off to the printer, and then we'll launch Quest 3, and we'll have Geek Love number 1, then we'll have Quest 4, and then we'll have Crimebusters number 7, then we'll have Quest number 5. And then at the end of the year, if there's still any of the year left, we might do something with the Granny Gumshoe or some more stuff with the anniversary special covers. I would really like to put out a special edition of Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, so we could get Uncle Sam and Granny and potentially even Cthulhu on some of these anniversary covers. But we'll have to see how it goes. But for now, we're just focused on the Crimebusters here. Again, it's been a great first day. We just had a big backer come in to put us up over $1,000. So thank you very much. I have a pretty good guess as to who that might have been, but I can't actually access it right now. But thank you very much for the support. I really appreciate it very much. So that puts us just up over 1/3 funded here on the first day. We do have 44 backers so far on the first day. The most backers that I've ever had on the first day of any of my campaigns is somewhere around 55, give or take. I don't remember the exact number. So on a personal level, I'm hoping that over the next few hours before this day ends, some more people will trickle in just to sort of hit that milestone. But it doesn't really matter if that happens. It's been a great first day so far for the campaign. And, again, we're running through February 2nd, so we still have plenty of time to get the rest of the way to our goal. So I'm really excited to get this out to everybody. So I'll just ask one more time, if anyone else has any questions, and then we'll probably end it here. I'm having some more technical issues here at my side. So I think it would probably be discretion's the better part of valor. We might cut out here in a minute. Anybody have any questions about the campaign or about the Crimebusters or anything in general? Before I go, I'll just say real quick that with quest number 2, I mentioned that I'm waiting for it from the printer, but I'm actually using 3 printers this year. There's another reason I may be switching to a different printer that can do everything in the same place. But because for various reasons, I had to go to 3 different printers. My regular printer is doing most of the print run, but then I have a couple specialty people doing the metal covers or a different second printer. And then the third printer actually has already sent me the variant cover. So I wanted to show I do have this in hand. It is the quest number 2 Walking Dead homage variant. And since I mentioned this at the time I was working on it, but our main character Vess in this issue was fighting zombies. And so I was like, wow, I've got this strong, badass female character with a sword here fighting zombies. So it immediately made me think of The Walking Dead and the famous cover for issue 19. So this is my homage to that. So it's exciting to have this in hand. So things are starting to trickle in. We'll take this last question from Kyle, and then we'll probably wrap it up. Kyle says, any other characters from the comics come into the public domain this new year that you'd like to use? Nothing is jumping out to me this year. Of course, I'm eager to use Nancy Drew. I think Nancy Drew might be next year, or might still be 2 years. Actually, 2 more years, I think, on Nancy Drew. I think her first appearance was in 1930. And so I think there's 2 years on Nancy Drew. That's the big one that I'm waiting for. I need to start actually working on that, but I want to definitely do a comic that's a team up between Trixie and Nancy Drew. So that's kind of the next big one. There's some that are already in the public domain, some weird ones that I haven't gotten around to yet. Partially because some of them have some sort of dicey legal question marks around them. And one of them is, this is going to sound out of left field, but there's a decent chance at some point that we're going to see Yukon Cornelius in the comic, from the Rudolph claymation special. At some point I'm going to maybe do like a riff on At the Mountains of Madness, which takes place, I think, in Antarctica, if I'm remembering right. But our guide into the snowy wilderness is going to be Yukon Cornelius. There was a weird copyright glitch when they put that special out. At the time, the law said that you had to have the copyright notice on the material in order for it to be copyrighted. And if you watch that special, there is a copyright notice at the beginning of the Rudolph special, but there's a typo in it, and they actually have the wrong date. And so instead of saying 1964 or whatever, they accidentally said, like, I forget what, but it was wrong. It was like 964 or something like that. Like one of the letters was missing, I think. But anyway, because they had that, the copyright for that special was actually not valid. And so the Rudolph is still copyrighted because he predated the special, but like Yukon Cornelius and the, you know, Hermie the dentist and some of the other characters that debuted in this special, they're actually technically in the public domain. You don't see anybody use them, and you can still see like licensed stuff with them. So there's some legal trickiness with those characters, because even though they're in the public domain, you may still get sued. But I have seen a couple places where people actually used Yukon Cornelius, and I really want to use that character. So we can expect to see him at some point. But in terms of the people that came in the public domain this year, I don't think there's anything really that jumped out to me other than, you know, again, I'll probably be using Mickey at some point as just sort of a background thing. So, well, we've normally have about 10 minutes left on this, but I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream here. Just having a lot of technical issues with the sound and with the audio, with the video as well. So we're going to end this now. Again, thank you everyone so much for watching. Anyone who might be watching the replay, hopefully you got past all the technical issues. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but I appreciate your support. I appreciate everybody who's supporting the comics and Crimebusters 6. And we had a lot of fun with this. There's a lot of cool stuff in this issue, a lot of cool characters and spooky stuff. And we tried to do some experimental comic book stuff at the end of the issue as well, which I'm excited to see how people like, because I had a lot of fun working with Mac on that section. So I'm really excited to get this out to people, and that's only possible because of your support. So thank you very much. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for watching. Again, I'll try and email you sometime soon about the trade, but it's going to take me quite a while, probably, I think, to research that. But I'll get on that. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll be doing another live stream on Friday, February 2nd, to count down the last hour of the campaign, and hopefully you'll come back for that. So thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.